Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to live stream at the Upper Room. If you're a regular viewer, you're saying, well, Ron, that's not your regular background. Well, you're correct. It's not. I'm in Texas right now. I've been here for a couple weeks. I'm at my daughter and son-in-law's house. You can see their photos right up above me here. I'm in their living room, and I came out here to help them out with some stuff in their house. And so we're broadcasting from here tonight, and we're glad that you joined us because we got really exciting news to share with you tonight. If you haven't already heard, we're going to be opening up again at the Upper Room, coming up with our grand reopening. Tonight we have some special guests that are going to be joining us who've been past, some of my favorite people who've been past guests at the Upper Room. And hey, like us on Facebook if you haven't done so already, and tell your friends who are not on Facebook that they can be viewing us on YouTube as well. We're both can be found at the Upper Room Presents. The Upper Room Presents. But we got a lot to do tonight, so we're going to get right into it. Hey, one of the people behind the scenes at the Upper Room is my trusted assistant, and she's the producer of this program. She's also the event manager at the Upper Room, and she does a lot of tasks, and I asked her to join us tonight. Would you welcome Marisa Personius? Hey, Marisa.
Hello.
Look at you. You're there in my power chair at the studio.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
well, how does it feel
am.
to be at the controls here?
Feels good. Feels really good.
Good. Well, I thought I'd give the folks a chance to meet you because you do a lot for the Upper Room. You help book guests. You coordinate pretty much everything. And tell the folks, how long have you been with me at the Upper Room and so forth?
Oh gosh, I've probably been with you for I think 4 years now. Maybe a little over.
It's been about that. It seems like longer, but yeah.
Seems like longer in a good way.
Well, yeah. Hey, I'm not a slave driver. I'm a good boss.
That's right.
So what's your thoughts of the Upper Room when you came in? What did you think of it?
I mean, I came in, I didn't really know much about it, and I was really intrigued though, because I love live music and, I'm a Christian. And so when I went the first time, I think it was Love Song, actually. I think it was the concert that we've been working on.
4 years ago, that's how we know.
Yeah. And it was a really cool experience because I actually went to Calvary Chapel High School. I remember seeing Chuck Smith drive around in his golf cart picking up trash, which I thought was so sweet. But I didn't really know anything about the Maranatha music and all the musicians and artists of the Jesus movement. So it was really cool to kind of come full circle almost from where I went to high school and being a part of that church in a sense. And then actually getting to meet the artists that were there with Chuck Smith, who, I love. I think he was so wonderful.
Yes.
So I just felt like my mind was kind of open in a new way, and it was really interesting. And not only was it, these new artists that I hadn't heard of, but they were kind of like the birth of contemporary Christian music.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So it was really cool, and it was really great getting to, hear the music from that day. And, it was sort of poetic in a way, which there's not as much of that. So I really, really loved getting exposed to it. And, ever since I've just really enjoyed being a part of the Upper Room, and not only the music, but the clean comedy, which I appreciate so much, because I feel like you have to, it's easier. Yeah, it's easier to kind of throw out a bunch of, foul language and stuff and get laughs. Right. But
it's hard to be a clean comic. We'll talk about that with some of our guests coming up. But tell the folks briefly some of the things that you do at the Upper Room. And you, by the way, you've learned so much and grown a lot since you've been with us, and so you handle a lot of things, and you've been handling more and more. So, but tell the folks what you do.
Yeah.
Aside from bringing me coffee.
Bring you coffee every day. No, I don't.
That's right.
I don't really know where to start. I feel like I do a lot. I mean, I manage the events. I reach out to the artists and, make sure that they're all set up. I interact with our volunteers and just, kind of make sure that everything goes smoothly for the live events. And then with the live streams, that was a fun new 2020, kind of invention that we had. And I learned all this kind of YouTube and Facebook stuff, and that's been really fun as well. So yeah, like you said, I'm on the back end there, kind of making sure things go smoothly.
Well, there's a lot more to what you do besides what you just said. I know you're being modest, but yeah, you were thrown into the fire and learned a lot in the last 4 years. And folks, anything that goes on at the Upper Room, Marisa's behind the scenes, like she said, from the volunteers to booking the people, making sure we have refreshments there, the ticketing, she handles everything. And then once we started these live streams weekly, she is the producer behind the scenes who manages all the technology, because I can't do that. And as I mentioned, she's sitting in the studio tonight in California, and she's in the power seat. So yeah, so Marisa, we're glad you're here. And folks, hey, before we bring in our first guest, tonight is about the Upper Room. There's not really an agenda except to say, hey, we are reopening after 16 long months. Our old venue is no longer available to us. We were unable to come to an agreement on the rental of that facility. And we had 10 good long years with the folks at Mount of Olives. Wonderful, wonderful people there. But, sometimes the Lord just closes a door. But when he does, a new one opens up. And I'm very pleased to tell you that we are going to be meeting at Capel Beach Church in Dana Point. Marisa and I have been working with them. Wonderful, wonderful people there. Pastor Craig Whitaker has been just open arms with us, and we are really excited. I think one of the things, Marisa, and I think you'll agree with me on this, it's a larger venue, which in some ways scares me a little bit because we don't want an empty feeling in there. But I have a feeling maybe the Lord's doing something, and we need a larger venue. Mm-hmm. And as you and I were talking, one of the things too that's going to be great is there's a lot more room in the foyer, whatever they call it, where folks aren't going to have to wait outside in weather sometimes, like they did in the past. They'll be able to come in. There's a coffee service cafe there. Yeah. It's just going to be a great feel. And if you haven't been to Capel Beach Church, it's not churchy in the traditional sense. And that's the one thing that we like about the Upper Room. We try not to be, quote unquote, churchy. We like it to be just kind of clubby, if you will. And so that's what we're doing. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But I'm not going to tell you who's in the green room tonight on our live stream, but I'm going to bring in our first guest because she is, well, I think we've only had a few female comics. We probably need to bring some more in, but Carrie Pomerelli is someone that I have known about for a long time, but she has played the Upper Room, I think 3 or 4 times, and she is just one hilarious lady. Would you welcome Carrie Pomerelli? Hey,
Hi,
Carrie.
Ron.
How are you?
Hey.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Do you want the truth or do you want me to fake it?
I want you to make it sound good, whatever that is.
I will tell you. Do you want the deep, dark secret behind like comedians? Okay.
Yes, I do.
So it decided to rain in California. So therefore my head is about to like fall. I have a terrible migraine and my kids were like, what are you doing? I'm like, Mommy's got to go do Zoom. So we started with pajamas on the bottom.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I went and I bought a reasonably nice shirt on for you.
Well,
and I put so much makeup on.
You
and I did my hair so poofy that we bring the attention away from the pajamas and away from the fact that I could die at any moment. In the minute this is over, I'm about to pop 3 Advil PMs and a melatonin because that's a wild night. And it's so crazy I drank Coke after 6 p.m. So I'm just saying,
Well,
I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, Ron. I don't know.
You're living on the edge, Carrie, and I'll tell you, you look beautiful, and the upper room hat is just a great topper. Yes,
Well,
look
I
at
love
that.
my upper room. And I'm really glad you don't have to have the Orange County people standing out in that horrible weather because it might sprinkle or become 69 degrees.
Yeah.
And they might melt. I mean, because there's
right.
a lot of, you know.
Yeah. Well, after being, I'm in Texas right now, and after being here for a couple of weeks, humidity and unexpected rain, I'm a California boy, and we just don't get that there. I mean, I think there's probably 2 or 3 times that people had to stand in the rain at one of our upper room events, and
you know what? Rain just does me a favor. It just makes my hair more like 1988. So it's like it works.
There you go.
Well, that's
I should be in like a striper video for you Christian people, or White Snake for the heathens.
Yeah. Well, folks, again, we're talking to Carrie Pomarelli, and I've got Marisa Personius, our producer, on with us tonight. And I'm pleased to tell you that Carrie is going to be one of our 3 comics on our grand reopening on Friday, August 20th. Oh, I do want to talk about the Friday thing, because those of you who are familiar with the Upper Room know that our events have always been on Saturday. We are able to do events on Saturdays at our new venue, but we have some time constraints. And what we are hoping to do, well, we are not hoping, we're going to be talking with the folks at Capitol Beach Church and seeing if we could kind of work around some of that, because not quite sure how Fridays are going to work out for people. But our hope is to get back to Saturdays, and stay tuned to that. But the first event, the launching Friday, I know some of you folks work, but hey, make time for it. And by the way, Marisa, registration is open right now.
It is.
How can they go register?
Well, if you're on our email list, we sent out an email. So all of you people on that list, you can check that out. If you're not on the list and you want to be, you can message me or Ron on Facebook, and I will add you. Registration is not yet up on our website, which is so bad, and that's my fault. But it's also on Facebook. So there's a link on Facebook. So yeah, the email list, Facebook, and I will get it on our website tonight. I'll get it on tonight.
So you heard it, folks. If she doesn't have it up there tonight, she's going to be in the doghouse. So tonight you'll be able to register, but make sure you go on, make a reservation. As you know, our events are by donation. We don't compel anybody to pay, but we really appreciate if you do. $20 donation is really what helps us out, but whatever you can afford is always helpful. Carrie, how have you been?
I would like to also add my personal Venmo, whatever they feel led to. I like to say plant a seed after the show, just whatever.
Go ahead and give that that designation.
It's single mom and not married is what it's called. It's called Looking for Old Money, which is good for Orange County, Ron. So I'm open.
Yeah. Well, aside, so are you getting back out there? Dates are coming up again?
Yeah. I started during COVID in places like Texas, where they were like, "What COVID? We don't have no COVID." And then they booked me really early, and I came with my hazmat and my mask. I was all like, I was wrapped in cellophane, and they were like, "Take it up." So, but the shows have been sold out, Ron. People are just so excited to laugh. I've been supporting comedy shows. I went to one Saturday night in LA, and I was like that loud, obnoxious laugher that only the comics appreciate. Like the other people, like, be quiet. But I was so happy to be. There's nothing like live comedy. There's just nothing like it.
Yeah, that's really true. It's really true. And people are ready to get out and laugh.
For sure.
And that's one of the reasons we wanted to do our first reopening with just a fun night of comics. And so you're going to be there, and you've done the Upper Room, I think, 2 or 3 times.
Four
times. Really?
Times.
Yeah.
I love the Upper Room. You guys have the best laughers. You have the best staff. You always get good tape from it. It's just it's a great night.
Thank you. And we always love having you there, and people just
Yes.
turn out when they hear you're going to be there. So thanks for being on. And if you want to stay on, we'll keep you on. If you have to go, I understand that. But
My head's about to fall off of my body in the physical, literal, not metaphorical sense. So I'm probably going to have to go pop legal drugs, like legal drugs. It's California. I'm not going to say
that's right.
What
there we go.
But I'm so excited to see, and it's just, I'm so joyful that I get to do comedy with my friends. It's going to be such a wonderful night. I'm so excited.
It's going to be great, and we are looking forward to having you. Thanks for taking the time to be on with us, Carrie.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you on the 20th.
Yeah.
See ya. Okay. Take care.
All right. See ya.
So she's going to be fun. So, hey, I've got another special guest that we're going to bring up in just a second here. And this particular comic, although he's one of our favorites at the Upper Room, he's not going to be at the August 20th, but we're going to have him on an upcoming date. Mm-hmm. And Jeff has been at the Upper Room. I've lost count, but another favorite of ours. Would you welcome Jeff Allen?
Here we go.
Jeff.
Oh my gosh.
There he is. Jeffrey Allen. He's got it down as Jeffrey Allen.
Jeffrey Allen. That's what my mother used to call me when she was ticked at me.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And ticked is a polite word.
Yeah, exactly. So you are getting busy, I understand.
I am very busy.
Good.
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Well, aside from what Tammy's given you to do, I'm talking about dates on the, on the road.
Yeah, it was funny. During the COVID, when we hit 30 days, she said to me, "I've been waiting for this. It's the first time you've been home 30 consecutive days in our entire marriage."
Oh my gosh.
And I said, "That's not true." She goes, "I've been waiting." So anyway, about 5 months I was home, and I went out on one trip. I went and did a show, and I came home and told her, I go, "If I had the money, I'd quit tomorrow." I hate to travel. And now it's been, I think I'm doing 22 dates in 31 days.
That's crazy.
Oh.
We're kind of back to normal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, during that time at home, did she get on your nerves, or you did get more on her nerves?
I think I got on her nerves quite a bit.
Yeah, I'd say that's
we had
probably.
a couple moments, Ron. You could imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We had some moments.
Well, you got a lot of golf in, I'm sure.
I did 5 days a week. I was playing.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go.
She was upset because she thought I was going to bring the COVID home, but I reminded her, we don't really hug and kiss after birdies anymore,
Yeah, well, you tried to the last time you and I golfed, but I said, Jeff, that's not appropriate.
Well, it does turn me on when I see a birdie.
Yeah, I know, but well, luckily I didn't have any, so I was safe, so.
That's true.
Oh my gosh. Tammy on the back.
Yeah. I golf so bad with Jeff, I don't know that he'll even golf with me again.
Hey,
but,
I told you in a heartbeat, man.
I know. Yeah. Well, we had fun. Well, yeah, yes. Exactly. So, Jeff, how many times have you done the Upper Room? You've probably lost count as well.
5 times, 6 times.
Is it 5 times or 6 times?
Yeah, I just like the fact you let me stay at your house. It was such a nice house.
Yeah. Well, we are.
And sorry, I took a couple towels and some soap.
We were wondering where those went. Yeah. So, but everybody pilfers a little bit. Well, we had but our new place, we have a lot of room as well, and so it'll still work out.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're renting nearby, and so it's all good. Yeah. Everything's good. So we're going to work out a date soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
I talked to Lenny, your management, your manager, and
I know a great manager's name, Lenny. He should.
Yes, a great manager's name. Yeah, he's a great guy too. So, but with your schedule the way it is, we're going to work in a date probably in the next few months here. So we're excited to have you come to our new venue.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I love the other room. It was just like one of the old comedy clubs with the low ceiling and just packed in tight. And, it did. Comedy room. It
did have that feel. It did have that feel. And we're going to try to cozy up this room as much as we can and make it nice. I think you'll enjoy it. So.
Well, I'll bring my guitar.
Yeah, in case in case the comedy thing doesn't work
It
out.
doesn't work out.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be fun. We'll have a great time. But I'm glad that that you joined us tonight. And
I am too. It's my anniversary. I'm 35 years.
Oh my gosh, 35 years! Happy anniversary! I hear Tammy laughing in the background.
I've been sober 34, and I almost got drunk just to kind of remind her of what she married.
Oh my God.
Why she stayed married to you mean?
Right, exactly.
Well, I'll tell you what. The last thing I want to do is keep you on your anniversary night, but we really appreciate you tuning in tonight. On your, she's still laughing at you after 35 years. That's pretty good.
She's been laughing at me a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You know what she's going to do? Listen to this, because you can look at me. When we get off the phone, she's going to cut my hair.
Is that right?
Yeah, look.
Well, you look like you need a haircut.
Long.
You got
It's
a little bit of
little
buzz.
long.
I didn't use conditioner tonight. We almost missed our reservation at the restaurant. It took me forever to get through this rat's nest.
Yeah, it must take you a long time to comb that out.
It is,
Yeah. Well, life is hard,
It is.
Yeah, it's hard being
old.
you. That's right.
You're old.
That's right.
By the way, I got Medicare, so.
Oh, good! Congratulations.
You can tell your audience that if I offend any of them, they can punch me in the face. I have coverage now.
Well, that's good. Because probably 60% of our audience is probably on Medicare, so you're in good company.
That's a good thing.
That's right.
I've already
That's
been
a
to the
good
doctor,
thing.
and it was only $12. I didn't even care. He goes, "What's wrong with you?" I go, "I don't know. You find out. I'm 65."
So you hit 65.
Yes, last June.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm coming up pretty quick right behind you. So, yeah. Jeff, thank you so much for coming in tonight and saying hi. And
thank you, Ron.
We're looking forward to having you. And
nice to see you, Marissa. Nice to see the
You
face.
too. Yeah. It's great seeing you again.
You text me, but you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one behind the scenes that nobody ever sees. So that's why I thought we'd bring her pretty face in here tonight so everybody could see her. Jeff, thanks so much.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
Do you have an HR department, or just the fact that you're a boss, you don't have to? Don't you know you can't call a woman pretty anymore? That's
I know.
Like triggers and
I know.
and all of that. Or were you talking to me?
Well, it probably yeah. I know. Well, I'll probably get a a sexual harassment suit now. So you got to watch. Yeah, I know. We are in California. Well, that's the way it is there.
Hey.
Yep.
My ticket, man. Larry Elder and Caitlin.
Yeah. Vote soon and vote often.
And often. That's right.
Often. That's right.
That's the key.
Well, we hope we turn things around in California.
I hope you do too, man.
Jeff, love to you, and
Ron.
you too, and to Tammy. Take care, guys. All right. See you soon.
All right. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay. There was something that I wanted to tell the folks about the new venue, and of course, it slipped my mind again. We're going to bring another special guest in here in a few minutes. But hey, we have a few minutes before we get there. Do we have any questions yet? Marisa, can you tell?
I believe we do. Actually, I can't even tell if that's a question. You can bring it up anyways.
Oh, there's Ed. Ed Arthur is one of our board members, and he's probably he's a jokester. He doesn't make his living telling jokes, but he should. Are you guys going to have guest lectures or a debate or something? So I could always count on Ed for a good question. Guest lecturers, actually we have had a few lectures before.
Yes,
we had Josh McDowell years ago, and I'm trying to think of some of the others. Can you remember some of the others, Marisa?
Victor Marks.
Victor Marks.
I don't know if we haven't had Amir, have we? Not yet.
No, we have not had Amir. But from time to time we have guest lecturers, And that could happen. One of the things I know what I wanted to talk about is about the upper room. One of the things about the upper room is we are not a church, even though we are a nonprofit organization. We operate, figuratively, I guess, outside the walls of the church, even though we meet in a church building. And so we are able to, our whole purpose is to bring in entertainment, guest lectures like we're talking about, things that bring enlightenment to people who bring encouragement. The upper room, we do bring an entertainment value because that's, we have musicians, we have comedians, but there's a message underlying all of that. And it's our hope that people that come to the upper room are encouraged through that message. And also maybe people who are not believers are comfortable to come to the upper room and just enjoy a great time and see what, great, good, clean entertainment is like.
Yeah.
So, yep. I see my wife. Let's see. Whoops, there she is. Okay. My lovely wife, whom I haven't seen for 2.5 weeks now. I would love to hear more testimonies. She tells me this every time. She says, you need to get some more people in there that are lecturers and testimonies. And that's really a great idea because testimonies are very, very powerful. And some of them are so riveting. And so we are going to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been the nice thing about the live streams. I feel like we've been getting more of that. We haven't just been doing musicians and comedians. Yeah. We've been having other people, and they sort of share their testimony just by talking about their story. So
yeah, that's really true. That's really true, and that the live stream has given us that opportunity. Mm-hmm. I'm just skimming to see if there's. Different people saying different things. We could read those later. But hey, before we bring in our next guest, I was going to just tell the folks a little history about the upper room. We started the upper room in 2009. We didn't even set out to start the upper room. My wife and I had gone to to see a speaker at somebody's home. We were invited, and the speaker was a former NFL player who had written a book, a fellow by the name of Ed McGlasson. Wonderful, wonderful guy. And it was about the heart of the Father, the heart of the Heavenly Father, the heart of the earthly Father. And it was such an impactful message that he had. We wanted to bring him to our home group and talk to the folks at our home group. So I'd asked Ed if he would come. And we decided that we would invite friends and family, and then all the folks in our home group would invite friends and family. And by the time we had done that, it became a little too large to have in our living room. So we moved the venue to the upstairs of a building in Irvine, and hence the upper room. And it was just a great opportunity to call it the upper room.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and we put a little music together. Myself and some of the guys that did kind of our little worship team put some music together, and it went so well that we thought we should do this a little more often. So we did it for a few months, once a quarter, and I think that probably was only one quarter before we started to go monthly. And that was 2009. So we started there in Irvine. The venue held maybe 100 people, but it wasn't a venue that was permitted for assemblage. So the Irvine Fire Department came in and said, well, you have 3 months to find a new venue, because you guys aren't permitted to be here. And the cost of trying to find a conditional use permit was going to be more than it would be worth trying to do that. So we searched and searched, and we actually had one event at the Crystal Cathedral, of all places. not in the cathedral itself, but they have this incredibly nice performing arts center there. Beautiful, beautiful theater. And we had one event there. I think when we had the late Frank Pastore came. There's another lecture that we had. Frank Pastore came, former Major League Baseball pitcher, and a dear friend who's departed far too soon. Miss him. But Frank came, and we had some music there. But boy, we had a hard time bringing people to that venue. It was just really difficult.
That's pretty far, right?
Well, yeah, it's in Garden Grove. And so it was a little bit difficult. And I think it was a Friday night thing, and it was tough. And it was kind of hard to find. I mean, not the Crystal Cathedral is not hard to find, but on the campus there, it was kind of, it's a big campus. So it just, but in the meantime, the folks at Mount of Olives opened up the opportunity for us to come in. And we met there for, I guess, the next 10 years until this past year, when after COVID, they decided that they weren't going to allow any more outside groups in. So that ended that era. And so now we're embarking on this new venue in San Juan Capistrano. So, Marisa, who's our next guest tonight? I'm going to let you introduce him. Because
our next guest. Okay.
Because I think this guest is very special to you, isn't he? He's your favorite comic at the Upper Room.
He doesn't know that, but
he doesn't. Well, he does now.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite comics. Yeah. So this is a very special guest that we have. He has opened up for sitcoms and night shows. He's the warm-up comedian. He gets everybody laughing and gets everybody warmed, but he is hilarious. I'm pretty much the one laughing the loudest at every show that we have him. So would you please welcome Robert G. Lee?
Robert G. Lee. There he is.
Marisa's favorite comic. That just made my whole night. Ron, I'm never going to talk to you again. You're dead. You are dead to me. Now,
Hey, remember, I was the first one that brought you in, okay?
All right, well, you're number 2 then. But now,
okay. Well, I'm always number 2.
But
yeah, thank you. Hey, Bob, how are you?
I am good, and I just want to let everybody know when we come back on the 20th that I will be doing a lecture and a testimony because Kathy called me, and so I think Ron and Carrie are going to be doing comedy, and I'll be sandwiched. I don't know where I'm going to be in the show, but just strictly testimony, no laughter, very, very serious. I'm bringing enlightenment. That's my new calling. Enlightenment to the masses at the Upper Room, and I'm looking forward to it. And so I expect tears, many, many tears.
Oh my gosh!
A very serious lecture and testimony.
Yeah, I'm sure Kathy is dying right now. I'm sure.
Perfect.
But but you try to be all things to all men, right?
There you go. So, I will tell jokes in the foyer after the show because there'll be no rain and people can hang out, and I will then I'll be funny after, but very serious on stage.
You don't miss a thing. You do not miss a thing.
You could do a lecture because you wrote that amazing book.
Oh, right.
I did write a book.
Tell the folks about your book.
Well, it's called "What's the Big Idea?" and it's the intersection between science and faith, and I just think that there's so much scientific evidence to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt that God created us, that I go through the universe and then the world and then your body. And I just show it. The evidence is overwhelming that a grand designer's behind it. And then I introduce the grand designer. So that's what the lecture's about. I'm just going to do that lecture and nothing else when I come to the Upper Room.
Yeah, well, that's it. Right. It's going to be I was going to say it's going to be a ball, but sounds like it's going to be something
sobering.
Different. So Robert G is going to also be one of our headliners, one of 3 that night at our grand reopening, because Marisa insisted that we have to have Robert G.
That's it.
So yeah,
she's my only fan, but I will stick with it.
She's your only and your biggest fan. Yeah.
And I will give this plug. I do believe, no matter who was on the show tonight, I have beat them all. I have been at the Upper Room more for regular shows, for New Year's Eve shows.
Yes, you have.
I've done things for Ron's home group, Valentine's Day.
Yes,
I have
for my company,
so
my corporate thing.
Your company, we did a bocce ball tournament one time.
That's right.
So
yes.
I have loved every moment of it, and I will put this plug in for the Upper Room. And I know you're trying to build everybody to come back and get excited. Yeah. The mailing list alone of the Upper Room is so fantastic. There's so many Christians in Orange County that need the Upper Room. I think
that's right.
Every time I'm there, just people come out and they need to laugh. There needs to be a place where people who believe in God can join together and laugh and sing music and cry and just have a great time together. And I told Marisa this when I don't know if you know this, Ron, but I recorded my last comedy CD there because it's always a great room, as Jeff was talking about. Yeah, it's always hot. It's always electric. You can almost count on just a great show. And so I recorded my CD there, and I said, well, I'll put it on Sirius Radio. I've got some stuff playing on Sirius Radio. And this is one of those God things where I didn't know what was going to happen. So it was in the September before COVID. Yeah. I sent my cuts into Sirius, and they took about, I think, 13 of them. And a month after COVID started, it took them 6 months to get it into rotation. It takes a long time. But I started getting residuals. And since all the TV work went away, all the club gigs went away, I literally survived off of the residuals. And granted, there was government assistance and PPP loans, and every once in a while our neighbors wouldn't pick up their packages from Amazon, so we'd get a bonus. But it was the residuals that God knew before I did that I needed to record the CD at the Upper Room, and I didn't even put it on. I didn't even send it in right away. It's like, I'll get to it eventually. I think it was like 6 months later I eventually sent it in. But it was, again, a month after COVID started, I started making residuals, and it's kept us afloat this whole time. And it's all because
that is
the Upper Room.
It's all because of the Upper Room. And, I've actually, because I'll drive, I love to listen to comedy on Sirius, on Laugh USA. Mm-hmm. And I've heard some of your routines. And you know how I could tell they were done at the Upper Room? Because I hear Marisa laughing in the background.
That's it. My one and only fan. She's the only one.
Nobody else was laughing, but I heard her back there laughing.
You have to get used to my soundtracks. All my albums just have one person on it. That's it. So,
that's right. That's right. So that really helped out.
Well, it did, but it just shows how God is in that place. And I just thought it was a fun night, and I wanted to record it because I love performing there. But it was more than that. It was just that God he's permeated your life. Your generosity spills over into the Upper Room. And I just think it's, I just can't say enough about it. To me, it's home. I love going there. Mm-hmm. I love performing there. And right now I'm in the dilemma of, do I do all new material? Because I'm working on my next album, and I want to record my next album at the Upper Room. But if I do it there on the 20th, then some of that material will be sort of not fresh anymore. If I can record, and 9 months later do another event where it's just me doing my comedy show with a couple other comics. But I here with Ron and Carrie, we're all doing about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and an album that's 45 minutes to an hour. So I'll play with it and see what you think. But I don't want to. And there's always a different crowd. So we'll just tell people, you might have heard. I always like coming to the Upper Room and doing new material because there's no better audience.
Yeah. Well, great. Thank you so much. And, if we have to go longer at some point at another date, we'll bring you back for another date because there's always room for Robert G at the Upper Room.
As long as Marisa's here. Yeah.
That's the audience of one. That's right. Well, Bob, we are looking forward to seeing you on the 20th. And, folks, those of you who have come to see Robert G before, you know what a great time we have with Robert. And so make sure you go on and make a reservation. Marisa's going to have the registration page up tonight. Yep, because she failed to do it earlier, so she's going to do it tonight. But that's okay because it'll be open for between now and the 20th.
It builds up anticipation, like, oh, when's she gonna put it up? You know?
Yeah, that's a good.
The upper room was always okay. We have three. You would always say, okay, we have like 325 reservations, but we know some people aren't going to make it, so we'll put out 300 chairs. Then we'll make it bigger. And so the new space. Do you know how many you can put in there?
Well, I think the capacity says 800.
Wow.
But the way they have it set up right now is for about 500. They got a lot of space between the chairs. And folks, that's another thing. These chairs are much more comfortable than ones we've had before. So,
and you have to understand how important that is because I've been to the upper room so many times. Yeah. Ron would always get these complaints, and from one particular person who was just angry, literally angry about the fact that the chair was not comfortable.
Yeah.
It's not our venue. It's not our church. We can put you to another place. Like, she was just mad. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, she scolded me.
Didn't we get like a strongly worded email, I think?
Oh, yes. That was the one Bob's talking about, that she scolded me for not investing in better chairs. So, well, we finally arrived. We've got some great chairs at the new venue.
All right.
And it's going to be comfortable. Bob, always good seeing you.
Wonderful seeing both of you. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. It'll be so much fun. And any idea of what you want me to do, just write it. Because remember, testimony only.
Testimony. Yeah, testimony only.
I'm there for enlightenment.
Well, I think if you tried to do your testimony, I think it would be pretty good and, bring the comedy into it.
I'll work on that. Just for Kathy.
Right. Yeah, just for Kathy. All right, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, have fun with Bob. I know Bob Bennett's on next, and just to let you, I have written all of Bob's songs, and so he takes credit for them, but he's a liar. I wrote every single one. So
let's wait before you go, Marisa. Let's bring in our dear friend Bob Bennett, and let's let him thank you for writing all those songs. Good. There he is, our good friend Bob Bennett.
Why, Robert? Thank you for writing all those songs.
You are so welcome. They call me, I'm more of a troubadour comedian. I like to write wonderful stories, and I can sing, but I can't play guitar. And so I said, all right, if I can't do these, who could I choose to sing my songs? Possibly not quite as good as me, but close to it. And everybody else said no, but Bob Bennett wasn't doing anything, so I gave him all my songs.
Thank you.
Robert, what is your favorite song that you wrote for Bob?
I would say all of them.
It's like saying your favorite kid, right?
That's right. You can't really choose one.
Like, I really fell in love with, and you guys can talk to him seriously, but I fell in love with Bob Bennett, and it was at the Upper Room. And I'd heard him before, but it's been many, many years. And he puts that guitar on, and he just starts playing, and it just makes me melt every single time. I can't tell you just how he is a storyteller. He grabs you with these songs, and he just sucks me in. And so I can't wait to see him again the next time he comes to the Upper Room. That's and I like him so much. He was out in Ventura County, and I drove out to see him on a Sunday morning, just because I love him that much. So
that's such a cool thing because, I mean, it's not like anybody's weird about it or whatever. But when you go out and you perform or do services or whatever in it, sometimes the last thing you want to do is go to some other guy's gig and hang out and all that. And because, it's not a mean thing. It's just, hey, this is what I do. I need to do something else. But he was kind enough to come out on a Sunday morning. And that was actually the last public gig I did before the big pandemic shutdown.
That makes sense. Sure.
Yeah. Well, Robert, if I'm not mistaken, I think you came out another time at the Upper Room when you weren't performing and Bob was there. And
I love him. I do. I'm not quite a Marisa fan, but I do love him.
Well, I was going to say you must be his biggest fan.
I think particularly Dan Ruppel actually is his biggest fan. That's another very funny comedian. They've been friends since elementary school, but I'm up there.
That's right, and of course you know Dan because of the comedy thing, and the comedy connection. So we had Dan and Bob on a few months back, and it was a hilarious time. So
I know. my gold standard is not only have I been friends with this guy since we were 10 years old, but if you're a guy holding a guitar and you say something funny, that works. But people tell me all the time, "Oh, you should be a comedian." It's like, oh, no. They will have me for lunch if I put down my guitar and try to do this. So the gold standard for hanging out with Dan is if I can actually get him to laugh for real, it's like a great day at the office for me. You know what I mean?
Bob, that is so true. Us non-comedians can slip something in there and get a laugh, and it works. But if we try to do it for a living, it's a whole different story.
It's a whole different skill set. If I were wearing a hat, I would be doffing it to Mr. Lee, because it's and there's so many. It's so interesting. There are real parallels to songwriting in that. I'm sure that maybe there isn't as much. It's probably very instinctual now. But I'm sure that he vets the rhythm and the words and everything, just like a songwriter does, to make sure it's tight. You're getting the most amount of mileage out of the time. In other words, there are some real parallels in terms of crafting, in the verbal realm. And so when I listen to his stuff, not only am I laughing as an appreciative audience member, but as a sort of a fellow word craftsman, I'm kind of going, oh yeah, very, very well done.
Maybe the two of you ought to get a room.
I think it's maybe a good idea.
Upper room.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
That was bad.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Bad. That was cheap. See, that was cheap.
Oh, I am Mr. Low-hanging fruit.
After Marisa said that we have clean comedy. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you interview the real singer. So I will say adios. See you in a couple of weeks.
See you, Robert. Thanks, buddy. Adios. So, Bob, how are you? Is the date starting to pick up again now?
I'm dipping my toe into the pool. I'm doing a few controlled things here and there.
Yeah.
Some church services and stuff. I'm actually getting on a plane in a couple of weeks. Because COVID had just hit and was very virulent at the time, I actually missed my daughter's wedding in Oregon.
Oh my gosh! Wow!
And they had a small ceremony, and the whole family stayed down here.
Oh wow!
So we're having a 1-year anniversary, and for the first time in, since February of 2020, I'm getting on an airplane and going to Portland. So it's going to be interesting to see, how that all works out. Whether I still have my traveling skills.
Yeah. It's easy to lose them. So Bob, you've played. One of the things is I wanted to have some of my favorite people on tonight. Not that the others that are not on here weren't favorites, but you've played the Upper Room. Go walk that one back a little bit.
He likes me, everybody.
Yeah, that's right. You've played the Upper Room. I probably as many times as Robert G has, and
I'm thinking maybe 5, 6, 7 times in one combination or another so far. Yeah.
And it's always a joy to have you there in such a loyal audience base at the Upper Room for Bob Bennett.
I mean, unless you just really show up and mess up bad, the audience is going to be so supportive, and it's a joy to sing for the people who come to the Upper Room because they're into it and attentive to what's going on, and you just couldn't ask for a nicer group of people.
And I just noticed the name tag that you put on for yourself tonight.
Yeah, you may not be able to see it on your partition.
Ron Strand stunt double.
Ron Strand stunt double. That's right. If something dangerous needs to be done, then Ron calls me and says, "Bob, could you maybe leap across that?"
That's right. I always call Bob to do the dangerous stuff and the heavy lifting. Bob, you look great. I'm glad you're coming out of hibernation, out of this doggone COVID thing, and I'm praying that they don't put restrictions on us again. And we want to have you back at the Upper Room real soon.
Mm-hmm.
Love to do it. I, like you, basically had to try to figure out a way to reinvent myself a little bit since the normal thing of going out and playing churches and concerts and so forth came to a screeching halt. the way that I knew the day before I put myself under self lockdown, and then eventually everybody did. Pardon me. I had 3 gigs cancel in one day.
Oh gosh.
And that's when I said, "Uh-oh, something bad's going on here." So
Yeah.
I had been messing with live streaming for a good 2.5 to 3 years prior to that.
Yeah.
But I did my first one. I called it the Bob Bennett online concert tour.
Yeah.
And that was what I'm always trying to put a catchy name to something.
Sure.
And I did it on my 65th birthday on March 21st. And I did something that will never be repeated. I sat here in this chair in my office with my guitar in my hand, and I sang and talked to people 3 hours and 45 minutes with no break.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
I call it the miracle of the bladder because, I mean, come on, let's face it, guys, 65-year-old guys don't sit for 3 hours and 45 minutes if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
That's
it was really good. And then I finished that night, and it was such a wonderful night. And I said, honey, there's a great honey, actually, as in my wife.
I thought you were talking about me, but
yeah,
sorry.
well, you're very dear to me, though, Ron. I said to Elena, I said, there's a real good argument to be made for not doing this every week. You might wear out your welcome. What if it gets old? But to sort of create an appointment event every week. And I went ahead and went for it. And we just did number 70.
Wow.
So with one little exception where I wound up, and I'm fine. In June of last year, I wound up in a hospital for a weekend. But everything's cool with that. But out of the last 71 weeks, every weekend, 70 weeks in a row, I've done a live stream on Facebook about an hour and a half long. Wow. And I've just had the time of my life. And long after I get back on the road, God willing, and play music, this is going to be a component of what I do. Yeah. It's just way too much fun.
It is. And that's why we're going to continue to do our live stream. Necessity is the mother of invention, they say. And COVID, necessitated us reaching our audience this way. And so we feel the same way.
You were kind of already on the way to that because you were doing Upper Room Backstage and conversations with artists. And you're a great interviewer and a personal fellow.
No,
and so it was, a natural fit for you to make this work. Yeah. And you've had some excellent people on.
Oh, thank you.
I was glued to the John Michael Talbot.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And a half. That was very cool.
Yeah, that was great. Well, Bob, thank you so much. We're going to be talking to you soon about a date at the Upper Room, and before your schedule gets so busy that we can't get you. But it's always a joy to have you. It's always a joy to see you, and love you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Marisa. Thank you for making the trains run on time, as they say. All the stuff you do behind the scenes. I've known enough behind the scenes people to know that it's absolutely essential what you do and how you do it. So thank you on behalf of all of us who get the fruits of your labors. And I'm just looking forward. I want to come and sing, but I'm looking forward to being an audience member.
Oh, great.
It really is one of the greatest spaces and places to gather. So
thank you, Bob.
Love you. And Godspeed.
Love you too, buddy. Take care.
All right.
See you soon. All right. In our waning moments, I want to bring in another dear friend and a great, great comedian and a great artist, my dear friend, Ron Pearson. There he is.
Hey, guys.
Ron, how are you, buddy?
Hey.
I'm doing great. It's good to see you all.
You too, bud. So
and, let me know when Bob's going to play there because I'm coming down to watch him too.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. I'll let you.
Any excuse to get to Orange County, really.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you Orange County people freak out when you have to go to LA County. You all have a big problem. I got you and your lovely wife to come up to the Magic Castle, and then
that's right.
Right, and we have this great dinner. We see one show, and they're like, "We got to get home," and I'm like, "No, there's so many shows tonight." He goes, "No, we got to get home." I go, "No, shows." He goes, "No, you don't understand. They locked the gate to Orange County at 10."
Yeah, that orange curtain comes down. You can't get back in.
It's
Well,
so you drive across county line. That's why Garden Grove people were like, no, that's too close to the border. We can't. That's why you didn't do as well in Garden Grove.
That's really true.
Because you go across the county line, you can tell on I-5. You can actually tell when you hit Orange County. Just like, oh, angels are flying.
Well, you know how you can tell? There's no more billboards. As soon as you get out of LA County, there's no billboards on the side.
Yeah.
And the roads change and they get
everything
wider.
Changes. People aren't cursing at you when you go by them. They're not honking their horns at you. They're not brandishing weapons. Everything's safe. Matter of fact,
that's true.
The difference between, have you been to the LA County Fair and the Orange County Fair?
Oh, yeah.
There's a big difference between the two. You know, LA County Fair, I've dropped something before and I went to pick it up and then I thought, no, I don't need hepatitis C in 3 weeks. This is a true story. My wife and I were at Orange County Fair. We went to see a band and we walk in. We're like, this place is amazing. Everything's clean. Everyone's beautiful. What's going on? I dropped some food on the ground and I said to myself, 3-second rule. A guy bumps me and goes, no, this is Orange County. You get 20 seconds here.
Yeah, that's true. There is that's actually mandated.
So funny.
You have 20 seconds.
Now, are you having fun in Dallas, by the way?
I'm enjoying being with my daughter and son-in-law. I love that. But to call it fun, because I'm working. Okay. And working physical labor with my great sidekick, Tomas, who's a wonderfully skilled man. But we've been doing a lot of work here. And I love being
I'm trying to get to be, you and I've hung in LA a lot, and I want to get hanging with you in Dallas because I have a house out there.
Yes.
That's
and every time I'm here, we just miss each other by a few days, but you did introduce me to your wonderful brother-in-law, Todd, and I got together with him last time. Yeah. And, but
look,
I want to go back.
Get you in a cowboy hat, a giant belt buckle, really tight Wranglers.
You know what's funny? You say that. Nobody does that here anymore. I saw my daughter and I went to Home Depot the other day, and right walking across, we were driving out, walking across, going into Home Depot, is a guy with cowboy hat and boots. And the funny thing is, that's the exception now. You go, wait, there's a real cowboy. Yeah. It's not the old Dallas days, like on JR and that.
Okay, thing. But where my house is an hour straight north of Dallas. You go to the edge of nowhere and then drive another 30 minutes. Yeah. And then and there are cows out my backyard.
Oh yeah. So you got real cowboys there.
Yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere. But and Marisa, I have a question. I've been listening to the whole show and it's Marisa. Yes. But a lot of people are saying Marissa, and you've probably gotten that your whole life. Does it bother you or not?
No, it doesn't. It's just not a big deal. And it's a hard name for some people to say, so it's fine.
Okay, well, so my wife, who's from Tyler, Texas, and her name's Tanya, but it's Tanya, so everyone calls her Tanya. And so she's in here in LA, and she still has the accent. So people come up and they go, well, Tanya, and she goes, no, it's Tanya, but they hear the accent, and so they're trying to correct her. And she's like, do you not think I know how to pronounce my own name? It's so angry. But the same woman, I will say, the same woman will drive through the drive-through and order a Sprite every time. I'll have a Sprite. She gets fries every time. Never gets a Sprite. They always give her fries. They can't understand her.
No way.
No one understands.
Fries it is.
So Marisa, it is.
Yeah, the name. The female name that drives me crazy is Deborah. Debbie. There's so many ways to spell Debbie. D-B-I, D-E-B-Y, D-E-B-B-I-E, D-E-B-B-Y. Or
not
Deborah.
The Debbies and Deborahs I know.
Is that right? Debbie's in Dallas.
Well, what did you go by as a kid? Because I'm a Ron. You're a Ron. I went by Ronnie.
Did you?
Everyone called me Ronnie. Did people call you Ronnie?
A few people did. But the funny thing about my name is it actually legally is Ron. It's not Ronald.
Oh.
And so, so my parents didn't want to name me Ronald. And so anytime I'm filling something out, well, please put your full name, Ronald. I said, that is my full name. It's not Ronald. It's Ron. And sometimes I have to argue with people because they insist that it's Ronald. And I said, well, I've had this name for 64 years now, and I think I know that my name is just Ron.
What was your nickname?
Strandini.
Strandy. Ooh, like a magician. The great.
Yeah.
What was yours, Marisa?
I've had kind of weird nicknames like Wheeze or Wheezy or Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah. Hey, Wheezy, get over here.
We need to explore that one.
The nicknames didn't really go with my name because it'd be like my brother would call me like Moise, like Marisa, but Moise, and then it transformed into Wheeze or Wheezy. And
that's good. Mine was Ronnie because I was so skinny.
Nice.
Really? Scraggy Ronnie.
Yeah, I lost a little weight.
Oh my gosh.
I was skinny.
Oh my God.
I'm so skinny. I get so cold. I know it's hot out, but I need to put on a jacket. Give me just a half a second, folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Look
at that. The official
little swag.
The little swag.
And to do your show, I'm giving up my season seats at the LA Galaxy.
Oh. Well, that's
to
big.
Play the upper room. Come on now.
Big. Well, well, thank you. I know how hard that is for you to give that up, but folks, Ron Pearson is the third one of our three headliners that we're going to be having on our grand reopening night. So again, you've got to get out there, make the reservation a little later tonight when Marisa gets the registration page up, or all day tomorrow, and in the days ahead. Make sure you make the reservation. It's going to be a great time.
Just to be honest, when I just look at the lineup of what you threw together. Usually when you do a show, you have an MC that's not very good, a middle act that's okay, and a headliner. You really have some amazing talent on that stage, and actually this whole show, because you add Jeff to it, and Bob. Holy smokes, man!
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Well, yeah, and well, thank you, and well, that's credit to you because you're an incredibly gifted comedian and juggler, folks.
How high is the room in the new venue?
You got a lot more room there.
Yeah.
Much
By the way,
higher.
as soon as you said juggler, we just lost 40 attendees.
But you got to see it, folks. It's not the guys on the Ed Sullivan Show that are.
I am gravity's enemy.
You are. But he brings comedy into it. It's really great stuff, folks. If you haven't seen Ron, you've got to come to the upper room and see him.
In fact, my last time there. I prepped my comedy special.
Yeah.
I was shooting, the people that created Mad TV were shooting a comedy special with me. And the week before, I ran the special at the upper room, and it was just so wonderful. What great people, and it went very well. 5 nights later.
You're at the Improv, right? Didn't you do the Improv?
I did the Laugh Factory in Long Beach.
Oh, that's right, the Laugh Factory in Long Beach.
Yeah.
That's right. Excellent. Well, Ron, we're looking forward to seeing you on the 20th, and always a joy to see you.
Yes, Ronald.
That's okay. All right, Scrawny. What do they call you? Scrawny? Scrawny Ronnie.
And my real last name is Myers, so they just call me Scrawny Pliers.
Scrawny Pliers.
It was so humiliating. I started college. I was 5'7" and 110 pounds.
Really?
I finished college. I was 6'1", 143. I mean, like literally, this
really packed on the LBs.
I was, and then now I'm 6'3" and 195.
Wow.
And but my brothers used to look at me and they go, oh, "I'm the baby of 8, right?" They used to pick on me like so bad, and I was so skinny, and they'd be like, "You're never going to be taller than me. You're never going to be stronger than me. And you're never going to make more money than me."
Yeah.
I'm way taller.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's great. Well, we are so good to see. It's so good to see you, and we're looking forward to seeing you, Ronnie. And
Yes.
so
my good friends do call me Ronnie. My good friend.
good. Okay, well, I'll start calling you.
You
Ronnie.
and I built a good enough friendship over the years.
That's right.
I've really enjoyed that, by the way.
Yeah, likewise, buddy. Likewise. Good times together. So thanks so much, Ron, for coming on. Didn't Marisa do great tonight? Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Her premiere.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
good ad.
yeah. So folks, thanks for watching tonight. I know we've run a little bit long, and thanks for sticking in with us. Again, go to the upperroompresents.com, make a reservation.
Support the new room and bring some friends. They'll love it. They will love it.
Yeah, bring friends.
Yeah.
Tell everybody, because it's going to be a great time, a great venue. Spread the word. Like us on Facebook. Do all that stuff. We're looking forward to seeing you. I just want to see if there's any other questions before we sign off tonight.
I think I see a question that's
Do you?
kind of a good one.
But, will the live performance be available through live streaming for those, if not in California? Diane Sanders, that's a great question. I want to say yes, but we're still working out the details. Are we not, Marisa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
really want to make it happen.
yeah, we are trying desperately to make that happen. So thank you for asking, because I forgot to bring that up. But we are trying to make it happen, and I think we have a pretty good chance of making that happen. So stay tuned, and we'll let you know.
But for those of you in town, show up.
Yes, for those of you in town, show up. If you're out of town, you could watch it on live stream, but you got to come to the live show. Yeah.
And you don't have to go to scary LA County to see all that talent.
That's right.
It's true.
Yeah, we're actually going further south into Orange County.
Ooh.
To the belly of the beast. And by the way, Ron, just for the record, I grew up in LA County. So I wasn't always in Orange County.
You did, but you were right on the border, brother.
No, I was in Whittier, Pico Rivera area.
Pico, yeah.
So yeah. I was in there, so
all right.
I know LA.
Getting his street
I love LA. Yeah, that's right. I'm one of the homeboys.
Go Galaxy.
Yeah. All right, folks. Marisa, thanks for being with us tonight. And Ron, thanks. Yeah. And folks, we'll see you next week on live stream at the Upper Room, and we'll see you on the 20th at the new venue in Dana Point. God bless you, and thanks for watching. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.